Hello 10th graders, welcome back to yet another interesting lesson from your first flight reader. Before we plunge into the lesson, let me introduce you to the author of the lesson, MIJIBIL the Otter. The author of this lesson is Gavin Maxwell. He is a British naturalist, best known for his non-fiction writing and his work with otters. He wrote a book, Ring of Bright Water, in the year 1960 about how he brought an otter back from Iraq and raised it in Scotland. Gavin Maxwell lived in a cottage in Camasferenna in the West Highlands of Scotland. When his dog Johnny died, Maxwell was too sad to think of keeping a dog again. But life without a pet was lonely. The author takes us through a journey of playing, taming, and traveling with MIJIBIL or Miji, the otter, and how he develops an inseparable bond with him. Theme of the lesson. The lesson MIJIBIL the Otter talks about the relationship between a master and his pet. It gives the message that one should be friendly towards a pet and take good care of it. We keep pets by choice, and if we have one, then we should treat it as a family member. Summary of the lesson. The story begins with the author traveling to Basra along with his friend. During the journey, the author expresses his desire to domesticate an otter because after he had lost his pet dog, life had become lonely for him. His friend suggested that he should get one from the marshes along River Tigris in Iraq. When they reached the destination, they found that only the friend's mail had arrived. After a few days, the friend left while the narrator was still waiting to receive his mail. Upon receiving it, he went to his room only to find an otter brought to him in a sack, accompanied by 2 Arabs with a note. It was a gift from his friend. He named the otter MIJIBIL, or shortly Mij. It took some time for Mij to open up and get acquainted with his surroundings. He was covered in mud to an extent that it took almost a month of cleaning and washing to reveal his actual color. Mij loved playing with water so much so that he even learned to open the tap on his own. He believed that each drop of water should be squished and splashed till the bowl had been emptied. Everything was going smoothly in Basra, but now it was time to fly back to London. British Airlines did not allow animals, so he had to book another flight that allowed Mij with a condition that he had to be carried in a box. The narrator put him in a box an hour before the flight so that Mij could get accustomed to it and then left for a quick meal. When he returned, he found that the box was still and Mij had created a mess by destroying the inner lining. As a result, blood was dripping out of the holes. Scared as he was, he hurried. They were far away from the airport and there were only 10 minutes left for the flight to take off. He cleansed it all, hurried in a cab, and managed to reach just in time. He explained the series of events to a very kind and generous air hostess who advised him to keep the box on his lap. Gavin developed extreme admiration for the air hostess, for she was very kind to him. As soon as he opened the box, the otter leapt out and disappeared, thereby creating a chaos. Passengers were frightened. A lady climbed up a chair, and in an attempt to get a hold of Mij, the author got himself covered in curry. The air hostess offered help and brought him back to Gavin, and finally they reached London. Mij was fond of playing with ping-pong balls and marbles. He even developed a game with the author's damaged suitcase. It could keep him engrossed for a long period of time. The narrator took him for walks while taking the lead and played with him. People of London, being unfamiliar with otters, had wild guesses about what Mij was. Some thought it to be a baby seal, a squirrel, or even a hippo. The most shocking reaction came when a laborer digging the hole asked the author, "What is that supposed to be?" Stay tuned for the continuation of this lesson in part 2 in my next video. Until then, bye-bye and take care.